Well, that was weird. It was glitchy. Um, what did we think?
I actually thought it was okay.
Mhm.
It was interesting, but I feel like it was like we predicted it. Like it's kind of like yeah.
I felt the same. Like all the reviews when I was looking at books said you would be taken on twists and turns and you'll never, I don't know. But I felt like it was predictable and not like shocking.
Yeah, I kept listening to the last portion. I want to say I listened 3 to 4 times, and I still couldn't grasp what was going on because I feel like once they told us what happened, I didn't really care anymore. I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
like I don't know.
I
I guess
think
I
we
have
didn't
a
really
sense.
care because the characters weren't like that interesting in the
Yeah,
end.
yeah,
Like what we were interested in was like, oh, are we right? Like, is
Mhm.
it really, is the mystery what we think? But once it was solved, like the characters were never that compelling, so it wasn't like you didn't care anymore. It's just like, okay.
exactly. Hmm.
I got what I wanted. Bye bye.
Yeah. Even when it finished, I was like, that's it? Really? Like, it wasn't satisfying to me. I'm just like, okay, he's donating the money to like the different places. And I mean, I think the only one thing that was interesting was that so Monica is Vicky's sister, right? Oh, did I freeze?
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
we did hear you.
I figured once you guys weren't moving, oh, my internet connection isn't stable. Thank you for telling me a little late there, buddy. Um, I said the only interesting thing was that Vicky's sister was like a victim to Nick. Is his name?
Mhm.
Was that his real name? That was his real name, right?
Yeah.
And then so that gave Vicky a motive to be like, I want to kill him, like I guess they both won because then Lauren is gone and then he is gone. So like I think that was the only interesting. I was like, oh, I didn't see that coming.
did we
But
ever
it
learn?
was so rushed with his character. His character,
Yeah.
like all of a sudden, he's also like a drug dealer. Like, it just was like a tangent thing that was like thrown out last minute. And then, like, I feel like it wasn't like all these, none of these things were developed. Like, everything was all about the mystery, and there was no character development at all.
I was telling Darlene, I was like, all this information was pretty much like hidden from us from the start. And then when it was revealed, it was like just like you know how you said it was rushed? Like he just started throwing stuff at us and I'm like it wasn't a good development. It was just kind of like, I'm gonna hide it until I need you to know, but you don't really know the character because he's hiding all this information. Like it was like the when we're kind of like, okay, all the characters were sketchy, but because we weren't given information. So
Mhm.
I don't know. I feel like he thought that was smart, but I think it was made me not like the story or him as an author.
I feel like if he gave us more insight into the characters and made them more interesting and told us less details about like the murder and what was going on, it would have been maybe a little bit better tied together. But because I don't know if his imagination could let him build a character
Mhm.
that was interesting. He was just too focused on the end goal because he's not a writer, he's a lawyer.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I also didn't love, and I read a few reviews about this, his like perception of women,
Mhm.
especially like when it was Vicky's point of view and how she when she would like watch Lauren and just like comment about like how perfect she was and blah 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 blah, like women being jealous of women. Um and just even men like Christian just falling for Vicky's antics, like give him a little bit more credit, especially if he's a con artist. Wouldn't he recognize a fellow con artist? And he was just distracted by the money and also like sleeping with her. But I don't know.
That was the most unbelievable part of the book, that he would just like totally like fall for her like right away.
Or even like when they were getting close to the murder or their planned murder, and he was just believing her, like she's like, yeah, I destroyed my computer, I did all this, and you just like believed her but like had no evidence.
Mhm.
And especially because then we learn at the end that he's been this like master manipulator, drug, like that he's
Mhm.
fed drugs to her sister. That doesn't really track with the guy that we heard in his, like he mostly just seemed like he just wanted money. He didn't seem like someone that would go and like try to do more than he had to, like
Yeah.
he just seemed like someone who, I don't know. It was weird because it didn't really try. He didn't seem like an evil guy. He just seemed like a con artist.
Mhm.
Like, and the way that now we learn this information at the end, apparently he was like a really bad guy, but like that's not really the impression that we got. He just seemed like an easy target. So it's weird.
And he didn't even need to add in that detail about him. Like just like messing with her sister would be enough for her to want to kill him. Or maybe not. I don't know. It depends on who you are. But it'd
Don't
be
you think that the author wanted us to sympathize with them and think that them doing the murders was okay? Like, I felt like the author had like a strong, like, trying to like make us agree with Simon and Vicky that like what they did was justified and that like they were pushed and there was no other option. And I'm not convinced, honestly. I'm not like, does the author think like you could have made it more like and more like up to the person to believe what they want to believe, but the author really wanted us to sympathize with these people, and I don't think that's good writing either. Like we should be able to all have different opinions on what they did and not just feel like the author really seemed to think that they were like the good guys, and I don't think anyone was a good guy.
Yeah, I agree.
Hmm.
And like he would think we would like choose them to root for in this story. But especially like with Vicky, her sister, her past, what she does for a living, stuff like that. I also thought it was a little long for what the story was.
Mhm. I agree.
And I don't think they should have started out with the murder. I feel like it would have been more interesting if the murder like happened, if it was more chronological, the story being told, and then the murder happens like right at the end. And they like come to the realization that I don't know,
Mhm.
would have made more interesting.
I shouldn't say never, but I haven't read very many murder mysteries, but are they always told in the way where like the characters that committed the murder, like it's like I feel like why are they keeping it a secret from us rather than from each other kind of thing? Like I feel like
Mhm.
weird way where it was like, oh, like they were lying to themselves about like who they were and like, oh, like I don't know, their relationships and stuff like that. Like they never once mentioned that Simon and Vicky weren't actually married or until the very end. But like, why reveal it at the end and not and instead like I don't know. I just feel like it was told in a weird way. Like I don't like again, I don't really read murder mysteries, but I was like, like why like I just thought it was I don't know. Maybe that's just me.
I think it's all because the author isn't very good at like the character stuff. So he's just focusing on like the murder mystery and he's not thinking about like, I don't know. Like he's thinking about like, oh, if I hide this, then it'll be so surprising later when they read it. But he's not thinking about like we're also paying attention to the characters and it's gonna be weird if like
Yeah.
you just like pop something up later and don't like develop it.
It's almost like I feel like when you play the game Murder Mystery and it's like everyone's like pretending to be and you're trying to figure out who it that's kind of
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's how it was set up.
Mhm.
But I don't know. I feel like I also don't read a lot of murder mysteries tampoco, so I don't know.
One that's really good, and it's pretty short. It's not that long. And they had a mini series. I think I've talked about it before. Sharp Objects.
Ooh, is that from?
It's the same author as Gone Girl, Gillian Flynn.
I was
Mhm.
gonna say Gillian Flynn, but I wasn't confident, and I was like, one of the doctors I work with, her name is Jillian, so I'm like, I think I'm just making that up. But yeah, it's from the Gone Girls
Mm-hmm.
author, huh?
Mm-hmm. I liked that better.
Mm,
Gone Girl, personally, just because of the character development
mm-hmm.
and the story.
Yeah, and I think both of those books and the movies or TV shows about them, like they have twists and they have shocking things that happen, but the characters are developed enough where it's not just about the shock, it's also about the characters themselves. And I think that's the key because if you're just having surprises and shocks, like it's like very rudimentary. It's not very fulfilling as a read
Yeah.
if you don't like if you're not interested in the characters too. Cause yeah, you can come up with a good twist, but then that's all you have.
Yeah.
And he didn't really come up with that good of a twist because we all kind of had a feeling that they were working together. So
Mm-hmm.
Like it's a little insulting on our intelligence.
That's I was like, there's a point that I wanted to make, and I had forgotten what it was, and I feel like that's what you just said is the thing I was trying to say, that he's making the reader seem like we're stupid, and we're not gonna catch on. It's like, ha, I got you. Look, I got you again, like with all the little things. But I'm like, I don't know. It's I don't want to say childish, but it just doesn't seem yeah, well developed, I guess. Um, I feel like I mentioned something like this in a previous book where I'm like, I could have written this. Like, it doesn't seem deep. It doesn't seem complex. It seems pretty basic of like, here, write a murder mystery. It's like, okay, I'm gonna make different characters and I'm just not gonna tell you. But then I'm gonna tell you and I'm gonna surprise you. But it's like, it's obvious.
Mm-hmm.
What was the rating in general for this book? Now I'm interested. I feel like I
was
I,
4
was
point like that. At least on Goodreads.
well, there's a podcast I listen to, and they're saying there's some type of, I don't know. I think it's a conspiracy with these books that get such high ratings, like Lessons in Chemistry, and get to like the top of the charts, but they're not even that good.
Mhm.
So people are being paid
For reviews.
for reviews or
Mm.
given the book for free. I don't know. And like the top 10 books New York Times list or whatever. Like, they're not even like that great anymore.
Other authors that like don't try to cheat the system.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe it's just like the hype because of social media. Like you're able to get like more people reading it to actually review it and causing it to like bump up the ratings.
Yeah. That's what I was gonna say too. Because Goodreads did give it a 4.28. And for me, for Goodreads to say it's a 4, it's pretty good. But this was not. I
And I
just
said I gave it like a 3.5. I was like, oh, I'll round up. I always round up.
I that's what I was trying to do right now because I haven't updated it. And I was like, what should I give it? A 2? And I was like, I mean, it was a good story. Like at some point I was like, oh my gosh, okay, what's going on? But like only one section. And then the rest I'm just like, I don't care anymore. So I gave it a 3.
I would also give it a 2, but I'll give it a 3.
I'm gonna give it a 3 too because I just think it's basic. It's basic. It's not very deep. It's not even that good of a twist. I mean, there were a few parts where I got like interested, but it's a very basic book. It's not very memorable or deep or interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I would probably feel super memorable.
Yeah, it's like dizzyingly clever thriller. Endlessly surprising and great fun. No.
Well, he's friends with James Patterson.
The thing, I think the acknowledgement or like the last page, I ended up getting it on Libby after a while.
Mhm.
And it said that he co-authored with James for 8 books. And he got an award for 10 novels of crime fiction. And I'm like, was this one of them? Because I don't know, man. It shouldn't be.
But now I know. Maybe I was just not paying attention in other books or stories I've read to destroy my computer if I think I'm going to murder somebody. But then can't they get into like your Google account or
Your cloud.
my
Cloud.
Yeah. And this has happened in like 2022, like the timeline. So it's not.
Oh, right.
What? Oh, I was gonna say I did find it interesting that the one thing was like, oh yeah, I was watching Netflix, and then I think Jane was like, can't you just leave it on and it just keeps playing and playing without you being there? And I was like, damn, that's smart. I mean, that's the one little thing that I was like, cool. I was like, okay, that's it. Then I got annoyed with Jane because she's like, I know, it's in my gut. And I was like, move on.
Jane also, like, in the end wasn't very likable because she, like, basically showed up at his house without a warrant and was like, I know it was you. So she was also abusing her police privileges.
Yeah, she at the end seemed just a little too much. And I'm like, I get it. She's trying to prove that Simon was such a like know-it-all. And I mean, he was pretty psycho. But it's also like in the beginning, he seemed like, you know, when he was repeating the words to calm himself down, it doesn't seem like the same person that we got at the end. Like, how do you just like how is that the same person? I don't know, it doesn't.
Do we think that Simon will kill again? Because you could argue that his 2 you know, main targets have now been eliminated, but we know that he holds grudges. And what about like the Dean Comstock guy or his original bully? Like, do you
Mhm.
think that he's going to kill again? Or do you think that he's satisfied now?
I feel like I don't want to say like um once a cheater, always a cheater kind of thing. Like once you're a killer, you're always gonna be a killer. But I mean there's nothing stopping you. If he got away with now two, I think it's gonna get to his head. He's like, yeah, I can get rid of someone else. You know? Kind of
Well,
like
he literally says he's like, I don't feel any like regret.
yeah.
Like bad. Like people who've committed murder or whatever and never do it bad. It's like, oh, I shouldn't have done that or whatever regret.
He's already
Like,
detached.
yeah, he has
I don't know.
like
I feel like I've heard that in podcasts or somewhere where it's like once you kill one time, it's like gone.
yeah,
I can keep doing it again. I don't know. That sounds crazy, but
I
definitely.
think you will, especially because like if you kill someone in like the throes of passion, like you're just angry,
mhm.
like at the bar, I don't know, you knock somebody out, they're dead. Like maybe that person will never kill anyone again because it was like a complete accident. But I think Simon, once he has a taste of it and he got away with it, might as well do it again.
Darlene also said they also never really followed up on Mitch or whatever his name was. I thought he might come up and he was going to kill him or something. That's also true. He didn't come up.
Mhm.
That was, I guess, there was more like, I don't know, just to see that. I guess it was supporting the one like scheme that Simon did, where he like had him like drugged him with his Gatorades, you know, like a tanto. I guess, but at the same time, I'm like, I don't know. We could have been okay without it, maybe.
Mhm. You want to say hi?
Aww,
You should-
hello. Oh,
Yeah.
She's looking at me, so
so cute. Let's see. Ah, the thing is freezing. Dailene, if you can hear us, what's your rating? You can type it up. I'll text her. Look, I was gonna say something else, but
I'd say 3.5. But definitely missing a lot of detail and made it confusing.
I think if they just made it one POV,
Mm.
it could have been better too. Like just
Mhm.
one person.
That's true. That is also true.
Or like, did we need Christian's POV? Like, it just made me sympathize with him a little bit when really we should be thinking that he, like, and again, if we're meant to feel like different people have different perspectives, then maybe that was there for a reason. But then,
Mhm.
like, explore that more. Like, you know, not just like kill him off and then we have to believe Vicky's side, you know? Like, explore that more. Like, are they really like explore that with Lauren? We never actually really got to know Lauren at all. Like, why not have her POV if you're gonna have
Yeah.
Christians?
I would
Yeah, I think Lauren's would have been the best. Like all like seeing maybe she noticed people following her, stuff like that.
What was that?
I'm doing a be real.
Oh,
It just went off right now. And I'm over here like trying to I'm trying to put the meeting on there. You can see my mess.
What Be Real gets to see your mess?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. This book was all right. Let me get the other one.
What is our best book of the year? So,
What? That is a good question.
a little over halfway with the year.
Daisy
My
Jones.
favorite is Tomorrow and Tomorrow, and then Daisy Jones after.
Daisy Jones. That was this year, huh? The tomorrow and tomorrow was actually it was good. I like that one. I feel like I thought I wasn't gonna like it. Oh, jeez, where'd that come from? Because it seemed like video games, and it didn't like if we didn't have it as a book here, I feel like I would have never read it, or like I would buy it and it would just be on my shelf for a while. Like it wasn't intriguing, but I think it was very, very good.
I don't read a book yet so far this year that I've absolutely loved. Yet. There's still potential. There's still time. I'm excited for this next one because that one's been on my to read stack for a while.
I was excited to read All About Love
Mm.
because I've started that book. My friend gave it to me, I want to say like over 3 years ago, maybe more. And I've read like 10 pages and I just have my bookmark there. So I'm just like, oh, I can finally read it. But I mean, I also own this one. So yay. For me, it
I'll
was a
pitch the
win-win.
All About Love again.
I was
I'll pitch it
thinking
again.
because so when I put up the tiebreaker, I already knew what book I was gonna vote for, obviously the one that I pitched. But when I saw the voting, I was like, it's 50-50. Like literally 50-50. And even the people that, because I can see who voted for it initially, the people who had voted for one of the books, I'm like, it's like we could go with either one. But since I had already made my mind that I wanted this one, because I was the last one to vote, and I was like, damn it, like I have both books. And I was thinking maybe next month we can read All About Love, since it was very, like we all seem kind of interested in the two books. So I don't know if you guys are into that or if you would like to pitch something else.
I like that idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel
Because
like
it went 50-50. I'm like, oh geez.
Yeah.
Has
And
that ever happened?
no, no, it hasn't. Like there's always one book that is like way ahead. And I don't even have to, or maybe one time we needed a tiebreaker, but like one of those books was chosen as like a top 3. So it gave it a boost of like 2 points or 1 point or whatever. But this one was like everyone had voted except Corina. And she voted, but I think none of the actual All About Love and this one, she didn't pick any of those. So I was like, you didn't help the tie. So then that's when I put it up on Instagram. I was like, let's see what they vote. And when I saw
I
it,
really liked the historical one too, the Nightingale. I liked that one too.
I feel like, let me see if I can see the sheet on here. Oh, that's not numbers. Not Google Sheets.
Like I might get that one on my own. I was like, ooh, that one sounds really interesting, like really interesting.
I have a friend who's read it like 3 times.
Oh
She-
my
Wow.
god.
But she likes historical fiction quite a bit.
but to read it 3 times, that says something.
Yeah. I think she like read it once, like physical, with the physical book, and then listened to it twice.
So many things of love. 4.
Good night, Darlene.
Gonna unload. Good night. Glad you made it home safe. What was I looking up? Oh yeah, the Google thing.
I just finished Evelyn Hugo.
What'd you think?
I liked it. I think because I've only of her books, I've only read Daisy Jones and Evelyn Hugo, but I think I liked Daisy Jones more. And this might be, I don't know if it's a hot take or not, but I didn't really like Cecilia St. James. I thought she was kind of toxic.
Can you see how that book could be like Taylor in the future if she writes a book?
Mm.
There was a TikTok. I think I sent it to Crystal because she had read it first. And it said, I'm waiting for Taylor to come out with her own Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo book.
Oh,
Yeah, and I was like, ooh, that would be so good.
But she hasn't actually been married, so it'd be
No,
like the
it wouldn't be husbands. It would just be like a tell-all kind of thing.
it's like the yeah, kind of like that one. What is it? The boyfriends of Christmas past.
When Nightingale was, there's a few books. I think the Nightingale was kind of the same as the how the Garcia girls lost their accents, where it was like there's definitely more for the All About Love and One True Loves. I thought All About Love was gonna win, but that was a tie. I separated the pages. Ooh. So this one doesn't actually have chapters. That's not good. But the good thing is that there is a break right where we need it. It's called Emma and Sam, or How to Put Yourself Back Together. That's, you stop here. So you don't go on from here. This is the last thing you see. I mean, you can read that, but it doesn't say anything. It should be like 80 some pages. Because even the chapters, look, they're just blank. They're just a break.
Oh, well,
So hopefully the rest of the book breaks nicely the way this one did. Because there's like a section that says before, which we're gonna read. And then yeah. So stop here. Emma and Sam.
I ordered the book today off Amazon, and it's gonna be here at 4 a.m. I was like, that's crazy. But
I feel like Amazon is getting crazy with stuff like that
I don't need it 4
at
a.m.
4 a.m. I forgot what I ordered, and it said it was like we can deliver it overnight. You can get it between 10 p.m. and 6 a.m. And I'm like, what? That's just weird times. I don't know.
give your drivers a break.
Yeah, honestly.
We literally had 2 Amazon trucks in our alley today.
Day. She's like, what the fuck are you guys buying?
Wild. It's wild. Okay, I'll post the thing up. And I'll see you guys in a week. Same time. I don't think there's holidays during August, right?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. So I feel like we should be fine. Yeah.
Only National Watermelon Day,
When is that?
Oh, what's
August 8th.
ooh.
Nice. Make sure you eat watermelon that day. I also can't believe
Yeah.
we're in August. That's insane. Insane.
We also have National Financial Awareness Day and National Lighthouse Day. So a lot to look forward to in August.
Okay. Well, see you all. Have a good week and have a good night.
Good night.
My pimple is too
Bye.
bright.
Bye.
Bye.